understand what you're saying. No.
There it is.
Let's hear it.
Well, let's hear it.
Talk to us. Uh-oh.
Beadle and Decker, taking on sports talk like no one else. Michelle Beadle,
I'm just helping. I'm helping America one by one.
Cody Decker.
I 100% believe in revenge. Revenge is a great thing.
Back to the sports.
Back and ready for more.
Every time I tune them out, they pull me back in.
It's Beadle and Decker. Here's Michelle and Cody.
Hello, everybody. We have done it again. We are live right here on an incredible Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. It's Beadle and Decker. And yes, it is me with my good friend Estelle Getty, as always. Of course, Michelle Beadle is over there in Las Vegas, Nevada, living up the greatest life humanly possible. If you checked out the Levitard show and the post that they made, we are not joking. We don't make these jokes when it comes to Michelle Beadle, when it comes to her gambling habits. She's just up like $15,000 because the rich get richer, and that's how life works. Somebody else she bankrupted at a very, very nice slot machine that she got them to go to, and then she just puts in some money and immediately wins $6,000 because that's how life works when you're Michelle damn Beadle. Which leaves us with the point that we have ourselves a co-host guest week, ladies and gentlemen. And yesterday we had Rob Brown, a good friend of mine who I love to death, who is my ex-co-host on the BetMGM network, and today is no different. We got another badass for you guys. The one, the only, JRod show himself. What up, Jim Rodriguez over there in Miami? What's up, my guy?
What's up, my friend? You know, little 70 degrees, enjoying the cool winter days here in South Florida. Not as bad as our sports teams, but we're good, man. We're good. Just another Cuban in Miami. That's all we need, right?
Oh, JRod, we're going to get into all of the shit show that is Miami sports at the moment. But first things first, welcome to the show. Dude, I keep forgetting. Remind me, like, where is it that we worked together? Because I keep telling myself it was the BetMGM network, but I'm starting to think in the back of my head it was VSiN. Was it the BetMGM?
No, it was BetMGM. And I remember the first day I was my very first show. I guest hosted You Better You Bet. Nick Costas, I think, is basement flooded. So they called me in at the last minute, and they brought me in. And they said, "Here, bring in this guy." The first thing I said, my first show, "Ladies and gentlemen, here's Corey Decker," and you're like, "Corey Decker," and
Jesus,
I was like,
dude,
"Oh, well,
Jesus,"
and
dude.
That's that.
That was what's great is you can't get a fucking first impression back, Jim. And here we are. Here we are. And your guest hosting with me today. And by the way, I chose that shit. I didn't need to. I chose. That's what a great first impression it was that I wanted you back so badly. And Jim, you're over there in Miami, and what do you say we just get right into it?
We only had two of these, so we're good. That day when I called you Corey, we were into three. So man, you got to know your limitations.
Full bar in the next room, and me and Michelle have been talking about doing a high show for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and then of course Michelle goes off and takes an edible without my express supervision and has all of the bad trips. So next thing you know, we're postponing high show until Michelle regrows her testicular fortitude again.
When we're in the market, we go down to Key West, and oh my God, all of a sudden you see Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Buffett, every Jimmy's walking around Key West, and the edibles. It's amazing.
Yes, and by the way, the chat is live. We will be going to you guys all show long, so absolutely be a part of this show. Plenty to talk about. And those of you that don't know that much about good old JRod over here, JRod does have himself a Dodgers podcast. So yes, we talking some baseball today. Very excited to talk to you about the MLB offseason and all the work the Dodgers are getting. Of course, getting richer is an understatement, especially with the other names that are currently out there and somehow getting tied to the Dodgers anyways. For a guy like Dave Roberts, and I love Dave Roberts, friend of the show. I've known Dave forever. He was my bench coach in San Diego. For a guy to come out and actually say out loud, yeah, I'm all for a salary cap, you got a fucking weird way of showing it.
Well, listen, man, to me, I lived. I'm not one of these bandwagon Dodger fans, okay? I was born and raised in L.A., so I remember the Frank McCourt era, right? I remember trying to win championships. I remember trying to win championships with Vicente Padilla.
I remember doing it with Ricky Leday. I remember the Ricky Leday years.
Come on, man. And Brad Osmus at the end, coming up.
I love me some Brad, but yeah, that wasn't the good Brad.
It was, they were just awful, man. They were just awful. By the way, Frank McCourt, still a genius. He owns the parking lot. He never sold the parking lots at Dodger Stadium to Mark Walters and Guggenheim. So he's still making money from the Dodgers.
You're right, Jim. Genius and criminal are often very, very close with each other.
Yes. In these days and times, correct. But what Dave Roberts basically said is, and I agree with them on this, is like, you know what? There should be a salary cap. Okay, fine. But there should also be a salary floor, because there are teams like the ones here in South Florida, in Miami, in Pittsburgh, who are not spending any money and basically sucking on the teat of all the teams that are doing well. So again, you should be able to spend some money. You should have to spend some money and be able to put out a product. I mean, the famous words of the former owner of the Miami Marlins, whose name cannot be uttered in South Florida, is, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with a $30 million payroll. I'm not going to lose with a $100 million payroll.
And I appreciate the honesty. Like, here's the funny thing, Jim. I appreciate the honesty, but also, fuck you. Like, that's all.
Right, exactly. That's all. Exactly, the hell with that, man.
By the way, it's already in the chat, and Ryan in Green Bay makes a good point. Unless you were a Cubs fan in the 90s, you don't know shit teams. Jimmy in Ohio. Yeah, we will get to this, of course. If they do try to actually pass a salary cap, I see a players' strike. Yes, we will talk about all of this and more as the show goes on. But
no doubt.
Jimmy, we got to talk about it last night. Monday Night Football. Your Miami Dolphins. Did anyone let them know that they were playing a football game in the first half at some point?
Dude, they are just the most ridiculous organization. And I guess it just shows you, kind of like the Cubs, right? Where the Cubs for years had no interest in winning because they had these sheep, loyal fans that just wanted to get drunk, go bare-chested at Wrigley Field. Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of how it is here in Miami. Cody, the Dolphins have not won a playoff game since December 30th, 2000.
Jesus
a freaking Christ. Generation has gone by since they last won a play. They've been to the playoffs.
Who was QB at that time? It wasn't still Dan. Dan retired in the 90s, didn't he?
No, I think it was. It might have been. Was it Fiedler? I don't know, but it was an overtime run against the Colts in Miami, and they won the game, and they probably got whacked the next day. But it's been a generation since and yet they're still page one. They still lead all the sports talks. They're still number one on all the websites. It's crazy what a football town this is. The Heat have won championships. The freaking Marlins have won championships.
Marlins have won 2 championships.
You know what I mean? And yet still it's Dolphins, which is so, and the worst part about it is the ownership, Stephen Ross, who's like a billionaire real estate guy from New York. It's not like he's doing it on the cheap. Mm-hmm. He's spending money. He's spending a lot of money.
The money spent on Tyreek, the money into Tua. Holy shit, dude. I'll just start with this.
Anthony Rendon thinks Tua has a bad contract, okay? Anthony Rendon thinks that's a shitty contract, man.
It's a bad contract, dude. Dude, tell me about this, because
$53 million a year.
You're there.
$53 million.
Dude, you're there. You're in Miami. You're watching it firsthand every single. I'm just watching it on TV, and as a TV product, Tua looks like absolute shit. But the numbers don't lie. The numbers have shown that Tua has actually regressed more than any quarterback in the NFL, where he was throwing, at least at passer ratings and completion percentages, he was at a somewhat elite level over the last couple of years. This year, he's like not in the top 20 in almost anything. And as a Raider fan, this hurts me as much as it hurts you. He has surpassed Geno Smith in interceptions this season.
Well, and the problem is there's no confidence in this guy. And Mike McDaniel, God bless him, with his little capri leggings and his Yeezys and his big ass watch. he looks like he can get you best deal, bro. That's what he looks like on the sideline. I can get you best deal, bro. But he got him a $212 million contract, and he's tied to him because Mike got an extension and he makes about $3.5 a year as well. But the problem is he's got no arm. He can't run because he gets concussed. The other day, the Dolphins literally could not throw a Hail Mary at the end of a half because homeboy can't throw it that far.
Doesn't have the arm strength, dude.
He doesn't have the arm strength to throw a freaking Hail Mary. So again, I think it's a bad contract. They're locked in. 167 million of his deal is guaranteed. And now, granted, Stephen Ross can just scratch a check and it's all going to go away. But the problem is, who do you have? Who are you going to get? You're going to get Fernando Mendoza to come from Columbus High School in Miami to come from Bloomington down here?
Nope.
You're not going to.
Not if my Raiders continue playing the way they're playing. That boy going to be ours, man.
Now, do you want the man who looks like a narco character, Diego Paiva, to come in? Diego Paiva looks like the guy who gets killed in the first episode of Narco,
dude.
And then that opens up the arc for the whole season, right?
So my favorite moment,
you killed Diego, and that's the whole season of Narco.
My favorite tweet. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was an NFL reporter, and it was so funny. It was Diego Paiva at the ceremony. He was like just flexing the chain and doing all this in front of the cameras, with the suit with the turtleneck underneath with the chains.
The ill-fitting suit. Ill-fitting suit.
I don't have an issue with the ugly ass ill-fitting suit. But it was funny.
How does a little guy have an ill-fitting suit? How does a little guy have an ill-fitting suit? But it was funny. Okay, a little guy can't have one.
But this female reporter actually wrote it. It was a great tweet. I got to find out who wrote it. This photo of him, this video of him just like adjusting his suit makes me immediately at home cover my own drink.
Yes.
Like
seriously,
like unreal.
There is something floating in my drink right now,
dude. Oh, and so you mentioned to his arm
allegedly.
And this was amazing because last night I was watching this game, right? It was the first half, and it was it was a snooze fest in the first half. Sure, you could say defense was great on the Steelers side because they had negative yardage over there for Miami in the first half, which is why I asked you the question: did Miami even know a game was taking place? But second half, things kind of came to life. Of course, 4 straight drives for the Steelers, yada, yada, yada. The Steelers take care of business. They are first place currently in the NFC North, which I don't know is a high bar to reach right now, and I will ask you a couple of questions about that. But it was funny listening to Troy Aikman talk about it. He's like, I always said that arm strength is underrated, is their most overrated tool. And I'm hearing Troy Aikman say that while I'm watching Tua throw 30-mile-per-hour passes 20 yards down the field. And then in the same breath, I watch Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, after last week of watching Phillip Rivers, I think Aaron Rodgers is young. But he still has got a cannon, dude. And watching him absolutely throw a ball with serious force, I'm like, I'm not watching the same QB on both sides of these fields, man.
Yeah, and I don't know what has happened. I mean, maybe it is the concussions because Tua wasn't that bad. I mean, no. he came out of Alabama with damaged goods because of the hip. Mm-hmm. Brian Flores got in his ass, and all of a sudden he was the HR bad guy, and he wouldn't get on a boat with Stephen Ross to court Tom Brady. Oh, by the way, allegedly. So that was it for Brian Flores. But as it turns out, Brian Flores may have been right. Tua sucks. He's not good. And everybody has hitched their wagon to Tua. I mean, listen, you give any quarterback, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Darren Waller, they finally had a tight end for the first time in the Mike McDaniel era, and then to be 6-8 and not be able to, and then what really chaps my ass is that you look at Tua's numbers, like if you look at his stats last night, it is a classic example of the numbers lie. Mm-hmm. Right?
Oh, yeah, because QBR was high.
Last night, you're like, bro, what are you talking about? He's 20 of 28, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. What are you talking about? And it's like, are you crazy? Did you see the first 45 minutes of that game? Mm-hmm. And just the lack of urgency, it really felt like a scrimmage. It looked like, listen, bro, we're not going to beat this. It's too freaking cold. We're going to lose this game. We're not going to the playoffs. Let's just try to work out these plays, all right? Take our time. I know that we're down 3 scores. We're not going to hurry up. We're going to do this. Or no, you got to get over here. No, you got to get over here. They treated it like a practice. I mean, it's an embarrassment. And honestly, I think you got to fire everybody. I'm not about people not, all these things are guaranteed, but Mike McDaniel's got to go. I just don't. He hitched his wagon to the wrong guy.
Yeah, and by the way, I do apologize, Jimmy in Ohio. You are completely right. I said NFC. Yes, I meant AFC. I apologize, you sticklers for fucking language. Anyways, no, you're right, Mike McDaniel. I truly, dude. I mentioned this to Michelle.
Great OC. Great OC. I just don't know if he's a head coach.
But like, listen, he was the belle of the ball for the last couple of years, and I see this with so many guys. And I brought it up with the Ben Johnson video of him taking his shirt off with the players a couple of weeks ago, and everybody's digging them some Ben Johnson, just like we've dug everything with the big dog up there in Lionsville and Detroit. Like, we love a coach that gets into this thing that's weird, a little quirky, does all these things. Until we don't anymore. And it's at the point where it's so far past cute with McDaniels that it seems like McDaniels is a problem himself.
Well, listen, winning is the best deodorant, right? Mm-hmm. You've been in a clubhouse. You know how that works. You'll put up with somebody's nonsense if you're winning, if you're going to the playoffs, if you're getting those playoff checks. You'll put up with anybody. But when you're not winning, the hell with that, man. The little capri leggings, the one calf showing, the 4-minute answers for a press conference.
As a glasses guy, I love the glasses, but bro, enough with the fucking tinted shades on Monday Night Football while you're getting your brakes beat off.
Yeah, again, it just doesn't. All that works until it doesn't. And it's a complete and total overhaul. And I don't know what they're going to do, because, again, it's not like Stephen Ross is being cheap here. It's not like he's not going out and getting the guys. Right. They finally got rid of Chris Greer, who was the GM. And they rattled off 4 in a row. So everybody was like, whoa. I mean, the GM's not the problem. It's still his guys. It's still the guys that he put on the field. They got rid of scouts that have been with the organization for 20, 25 years. Again, how do you have scouts that have been with the organization for 25 years when you haven't made the playoffs for 25 years? Clearly, these guys aren't the guys. You know what I mean? It's just, I think Stephen Ross, he's a great businessman. What he's done for the community in Miami, what he's turned an area of Miami Gardens, which is, it's a dump, it's a hood, and he's turned that into the center of sports. He's got F1 out of there, he's got tennis out of there, he got the Super Bowl back to Miami. The NFL said, oh, we're not going to give you the Super Bowl unless you renovate the stadium. He looked at the city said, hey, okay, how much is it? I'll pay for it himself. So the guy's an ambassador for the city. But he's a terrible owner because he's too loyal and he hires awful people.
Well, from one coach in hot water in Mike McDaniels to the other coach who 2 weeks ago was dealing with fire Tomlin chants, and now they're back at the top of the AFC North. Even though, I'll ask you this question, dude. Is this a good thing? Because I'm a Tomlin guy. Now, I've gone back and forth on this, and we had so many callers back on the old version of the show, and of course our chat goes back and forth in this left and right. We used to get so many Pittsburgh callers that would be like, I've just had enough of Tomlin. I'm tired of these just over 500 seasons and making it in the playoffs and getting knocked out early. And our producer Shane in Chicago, all the time, he's like, dude, they haven't won a playoff game in like 8 years. It's unforgivable. But as a fan of a shitty franchise who truly does not understand what winning is anymore, because I'm a Raider fan. I would give anything for 500 with the opportunity to be in the playoffs.
You love 9 wins.
Dude, 9 wins? Are you shitting me? Inject it into my veins right fucking now. I'll take it. You don't want Tomlin? I'll take Tomlin. That being said, I am just starting. And a couple of weeks ago, I actually, some of these Pittsburgh fans might be swaying me a little bit, because I'm starting to get it. Over and over and over, these guys are always going to be middle of the pack in the draft. They're never going to get their franchise quarterback at some point. So you're always going to be stuck with a kind of a veteran or a young guy that you're kind of taking a chance on. Trust me, the Raiders are playing with the last young guy they took a chance on, and it was awful this weekend as they got blanked by the Eagles. I'm just sitting around going, yeah, Tomlin's a legend, but at some point he's got to go, just simply because I'm looking at the Patriots. They take a 3-year sabbatical of being bad, and now they're back at the top of the hill. Maybe there is something to tanking all of a sudden.
Listen, I think I had somebody tell me, I had a general manager tell me that the most unforgivable thing you can do, the most lazy thing you can do in sports management is be mediocre, because that's easy. Mm-hmm. It's easy. As an owner, you almost love it. Hey man, we're, more wild card teams in baseball. Great. All I got to do is win 80 games, 82 games. And I got important September baseball in my ballpark. Who cares if I get in the playoffs or not? I got 40,000 people because we're 80 and 82, 2.5 games out of the wild card. Again, mediocre. you're never going to be good enough to get a number one, a high draft pick. Mm-hmm. You're never going to be, you're never going to be good enough to make it to the playoffs. You're just going to be muddling around 9 and 8. And what, you hope you get lucky. Mm-hmm. You hope you lightning strikes and all of a sudden you're going to make a deep run in the playoffs. It's not going to work. And I think, to me, it's lazy for Mike Tomlin. And I'll say it because you're not demanding more. Granted, he's had traffic cones for quarterbacks, for years.
He's got one right now, just with a better arm and a better mind.
Put it out there. I think you're asking a lot. And I think for Tomlin, I'm not saying he's given up, but I think he knows what he has. And he's like, listen, we are a 9-win team. We're always going to be a 9-win team. And maybe somebody will get hurt. Maybe we'll have a play. To me, as a fan base, that's terrible because you're stuck. You're never going to get any better. So, but I don't necessarily think Tomlin's the problem. I think Tomlin's just saying the quiet part out loud. I think it's the general manager. I think it's the ownership group. And, you hate to criticize the Rooneys. Oh my God, the Steelers are the greatest owners ever. And they are. Mm-hmm. But I think 9 and 8, a playoff game, cool. But it's not even home playoff games.
I hear you, but hear me out on this. And this is where I really have my gripe with Pittsburgh fans about this. And this is really where it all comes down to. Within your same city is the goddamn Pirates. Wouldn't you fucking kill for the Pirates to do what the Steelers have done for the last 20 years? Like, I get it. Not a lot of championships in the last 20 years. But how many playoff appearances of the Pirates, the former proud Pittsburgh Pirates, have become a footnote in Major League Baseball, while the Steelers are still a legendary Steeler kind of team, despite not having racking up the championships of late? I don't know. I see that city can't have it both ways. You got to pick one.
Right. I think as an ownership group, your job is to make money, and you're making money. Mm-hmm. 9 wins. We're going to the playoffs. Every game's important. You're not out of it on mid-August. If to go back to the baseball term, to me, that's cool and all, but you get what you pay for, right? You're going to be 9 and 8. You're going to get bounced in the first round. Hopefully, if you're ownership, you get a home game, and you might get it by winning the division. And I think they're going to win the division this year. Although I'll tell you what, the divisions in the NFL are wild this year, right? Between the Steelers and the Ravens, the Patriots and the Bills, the Jaguars and the Texans. They're all, the Rams and the Seahawks, and they're playing Thursday. It's like this is awesome in terms of playoff possibilities because everybody is good, and thank God, because the NFL is in a serious problem with no Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
See, I disagree. I think they have a great situation. Listen, I don't think there's necessarily Chiefs fatigue. There is, but I think the NFL has gotten really used to the last 20 years, especially with the Patriots run and now with the Chiefs run. They've gotten really good and comfortable having a villain. We don't have a villain going into this playoffs this year.
That's bad.
I think that's good.
Dynasties.
No, man, I think this is awesome.
I need somebody to root against.
No,
why
don't
did
worry.
Floyd Mayweather make so much money?
Somebody.
No, why did Floyd Mayweather make so much money? Why is Jake Paul making so much money? Because you want to see him get his ass
I hear what
beat.
You're saying.
You want to see the Chiefs get beat.
No.
See,
You're in wrestling mind,
You need the
JRod.
bad guys.
No.
Tony Montana.
We don't need a heel. We got new blood, man. It's like an actual reset to the NFL. It's like we can pick and choose. It's like right now we love underdogs, or so we claim as a country that we love underdogs. Look at the playoff field. It's just underdog central, bro. Because you could, and I'm going to use the phrase that drives Shane the most crazy. It's drop a pen down, and wherever the pin lands, you can just say whatever you want. They have as good of a chance to win the Super Bowl as anyone. I think it's the Rams. But that being said, you can make an argument for the just over 500 Steelers. You can make an argument for the Bills in this little window without Patrick Mahomes. You can make an argument for the Ravens, despite the fact that they're a tale of two cities every single week.
I see. To me, without a bad guy, if all this new blood is great in Denver, in New England.
Oh no, we're gonna
in Jacksonville.
Oh no. There's a bad guy. There's a bad guy, and he coaches in Denver. For a fact we're rooting against him. And who else? Actually, how about this? If we need a new villain for the NFL this year, who's going to be the new villain in the playoffs this year? Because it's got to be Denver, right?
everybody's so freaking likable. That's
no,
the
they're
problem.
not. Fuck Denver.
You don't have Bill. Well, I mean, that's like me with the Giants. Fuck the Giants. To me, it's the Dodgers and the Padres.
I actually don't hate Denver, by the way.
Bless their hearts, by the way. I heard they just put up the in first place for 48 hours banner over at Petco Park. So I'm so happy for them.
How dare you? I am a proud ex-Padre. No. The Padres don't get shit, and it's unfair for you as a Dodger fan to take pot shots to the team that's about to sell and likely sell off all their great assets because they blew their window.
They are a freaking Telemundo novella right now. Awful about Peter Seidler passing away. Awful. But now you got the widow fighting the brothers.
I'm so unhappy.
And now it's crazy, but it is a freaking telenovela what they got in the world's most beautiful city. And it's crazy. But again, you got to admit, you keep making those douchebag videos with those overage white, middle-aged white dudes dancing.
No, that was a misstep.
That's what's gonna happen.
Listen, those rappers was a misstep. It's the worst fuck. The Padres should have 3 rings on their fingers right now, but because those dumb fucks opened their mouths, Dodgers have 2. So
Trevor, Chase, and Eddie screwed it up. I don't know if there's a name, but they look like a Trevor, Corey, and Chase.
Just 3 old Chads just ruining shit for all of San Diego.
Brenda, bring the camera. I got an idea.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please look up San Diego Padre fan rap. It was
That's what's in. That's what's good.
As a white guy, that's the whitest shit I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Bro.
Like, I immediately wanted to turn in my white card. I'm like, we should end.
That is white people doing white people shit.
We should end right now. We don't have culture. All right, let's go ahead and switch it up to something else. We talked a ton of sports already. 30 minutes in. Look at us go.
Yeah.
Rocky. Let's rock.
All right, let's rock.
All right. Well, this is JRod's first go at Let's Rock. So what do you got?
Okay.
But no, by the way, can I just say something real quick? You know that dude's from Twin Peaks, right? The little guy?
Yes, he is.
When I lived in Hollywood in LA, I grew up I lived in an apartment building. He was my neighbor. I would see him coming out of the elevator.
Oh, did he talk backwards?
Shit. Michael J. Anderson.
No, literally, on Argyle and Sunset. I lived on top of the hill on Sunset and Argyle, and the elevator would open, and I looked at him, and he went, "Hi." I was like, "Holy, you're the dude from the dude."
That's
Dude,
a man from another place.
If I was him, I'd only rock those sweet suits.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Rock.
So sick. So sick. Okay, so I got some questions that are not very sports related, but I'm just going to go ahead and rattle them off here. What's a movie remake you never want to see?
Can it already have been made?
Sure.
A movie remake, and I'm going to call it a remake because I would like to see a sequel to the original. And by the way, this movie remake, I shockingly didn't hate. But we don't need a RoboCop remake, period, stop.
Okay.
Joel Kinnaman did a very fine job. Listen, for what was put in front of me, that was actually way better than it deserved to be.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, the original 1980, I believe, 88 RoboCop is a masterpiece of satire, action, practical effects. Peter Weller has never been better before or since, and I fucking like Peter Weller. Dude, just give me a new RoboCop. Don't remake that shit. It's perfect.
Love it.
I'd buy that for $1.
No,
For sure.
picture perfect.
You got one, JRod?
For me, this is. I'm not old, but I'm not young, so I can touch standard definition and I can embrace the future. But to me, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Ooh,
there was a crazy.
Yes. Don't ever
there was
make
a
it.
rumor. There was a rumor, and I had some Hollywood buddies tell me this, that sometimes they will make up a phony baloney fugazi rumor to see if people hate it. And and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wanted to remake Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
No, they didn't. They better not have. They can make
No,
anything
they
they want.
wanted
Just don't
to
make
do it.
that.
And they threw it out there. And people were like, boo, boo, Princess Bride stuff, boo.
Yep.
And
Oh, by the way, Princess Bride's on that list. No one ever touch that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't one ever touch that.
just and my thing, you can't do Big Lebowski over again.
Of course, and by the way, that's in the chat. Jimmy in Ohio put that out there. Here's a good one. Scott in PA. I didn't think of the Psycho remake.
Oh my
never
God!
should.
It was shot for shot,
dude. I love Gus Van Sant, but what the fuck you doing, Gus?
What are we doing?
What are you doing, Gus?
That was a very
Big Lebowski. No more Karate Kid remakes. Listen, I agree on the remakes, but can we all just agree that Cobra Kai is not a remake? It is a proper sequel that actually tells the story that I believed since I was a young child. Daniel LaRusso was the bad guy in Karate Kid and still is. He is.
I think it's a referendum. I think it's a referendum against suburbia and capitalism. That's just me.
That's right. Oh, yeah. And that's what Paul Verhoeven did with RoboCop. See, full circle.
There we go.
Rock, what do you got?
There we go. I'll throw one in there
what do you got?
Because I see kind of people, I think, younger people who don't know better asking for it. Back to the Future with Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr.
No.
That's like this one I've been seeing just kind of floating around. I fucking hate it. Get it out of here.
I would still be okay with the Back to the Future 4, though.
Sure. I mean, as long as Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale are alive, never going to happen.
I know.
But as soon as they die, Universal will probably do it.
Probably
shameless enough.
But Christopher Lloyd's still alive. We can get one more out of him.
Oh, I mean, it would be a dream, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think. All right, moving on. What's a special interest you have that might surprise people?
Ooh, JRod, anything coming to your mind? Special interest you have?
A special interest that I have that might surprise
So
people.
I'll go with mine. But a lot of you who, a lot of people in the chat know this. A lot of people that know me know this. But, I have a very specific look. I'm a big Jack Daddy with tattoos, and I look like I, joined a biker gang. Like Elliot Gould if he joined Sons of Anarchy is the exact look I'm going for. Anyways, those of you that don't know me don't know this about me. I am very into musical theater. I love musical theater. I love theater. I love going to the theater. And while I was living in New York for the past 4 years, I went to 54 Broadway shows. Wow. I am just obsessed with live theater and live art. It's something I'm really... Concerts, I kind of put in that same thing, but there's something special about going to a live theater performance that is just, in my opinion, kind of unmatched.
Well, if you know me, and I kind of... I'm a big cigar guy. I do a cigar show. I've got this nice little humidor back here from Drew Estates. So whiskey, women, booze, the fast life. But I love me some dogs. I love me my pug. I've got a pug. I've got a pug, and I've got a little. And there was a stray dog that walked into my wife's office, and so Finley's here with me right now. Finley, what are you doing? Come up here.
It's a big pug show. Michelle's dog Winnie is a 20-year-old blind pug. Oh, look at that little guy.
This guy.
Oh, I got to get Franklin in here, my Great Dane, but he's going to knock down all our fucking cameras.
So yes, and Pixie's a big fat pug from Hialeah, which is a big Cuban area here in Miami. She's an old Cuban woman. I think she's my mom who has come back and just sits there and yells at me all the whole day.
I love it,
buddy.
Rock, what do you got?
Okay, moving on. What's a third place you think should exist now? We're in a time where I think third places are kind of being phased out. A bar, bowling alley, movie theater. A place that's not home or work to go hang out with your buds and do something. What's an activity that needs a dedicated commercial space?
So are you're referring to like bowling alleys, even though bowling alleys are getting taken out?
Exactly. No, right. I mean all the things except bars. I got one. Are basically going away.
I got one because you still catch them at bars, and if you come to our studio ever, JRod, you'll know we have a very lovely pool table in this place. But
I'm coming.
Have you noticed pool halls are a thing of the past, bro? Where are all the damn I grew up at a place here on Wilshire Boulevard called the House of Billiards. I would go all the time, and I grew up just hustling so many people out of money, like Uncle Phil in that episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, it was hand me Lucille, and I would just take people for all they were worth. There are no more pool halls, man, and even bars with pool tables. Those are just going away because pool just seems to be a thing of the past, which sucks. I love playing me some pool, man.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think for me, my mom growing up was a bookie. She was the neighborhood bookie. So to me, there is no place. There is no like off-track betting hall where you can sit there, smoke, make some bets, maybe sneak in a little, booze. And you know what? You know what's going away too? Barbershops. I think they are. Barbershops are going away.
Interesting. There's a couple
I
that
think
popped
we're
up
gonna-
around here, but a good barbershop, as a guy that's got a beard that needs his barber, and I've only seen one barber in the last 4 years. He's in New York. I got to fly back to go see him because I still haven't found my LA guy. By the way, get in the chat. If you got an LA guy barber, let me know. Man, yeah, barbershops. We need some good barbershops.
That's a good one.
Right. And barbershops, that's where you would gamble. That's where you buy your assorted sundries, and you would get a haircut too.
Yeah, and you learn about the world.
Yes.
Assorted sundries.
That's right. By the way, a couple of great ones in the chat. Kevin in Texas says Top Golf. Ryan in Green Bay throws out pickleball courts, which seems to. My mom went and played pickleball this morning. And this is a good one. Hysteria 87X roller skating. Is not a lot of roller rinks around anymore. Let's bring back them fucker. Michelle brought up the roller rink last week, man.
I think of Boogie Nights every time anybody roller skates. I think of Boogie Nights and Roller Girl.
Totally.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, one last one, or it's actually kind of a two-parter. Back in the sports realm, who had the best halftime show of all time? Or I can expand it to just, it doesn't have to be halftime. It can be just sports performance.
I'll stick with halftime.
Okay.
I'll just stick because if we're talking about a musical performance at any show ever,
It does, yeah.
it is a Super Bowl halftime show. And that man is His Royal Badness Prince, who was told that it's raining out there, and they were terrified that Prince, who had a lot of interesting idiosyncrasies where he decided would often decide not to go on for anything that might be slightly off, but instead Prince looked at them in the face and said, "Tell them to make it rain harder, baby." And he went out and tore the fucking country to the ground with everything he had. There has never been a better show before, after, or ever in not just Earth, universal type of shit. One day aliens will get that transmission and they will believe that we were the best species in the universe.
That was in Miami. That was Colts Bears.
Was it really?
Unbelievable.
Here in Miami. Yeah. I would say you're right. There, and the argument ends there, but I would say close, maybe not a 1B or not even a 1A. Maybe they're a 1G.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Bowl in LA with Dre,
That was badass.
Snoop, and Eminem.
It's pretty badass.
That was pretty
50 Cent
pretty rock
performing
star.
upside down in the club. Like, that was pretty sweet.
I mean, to me, it's not Prince, but it's pretty close.
Ryan Sim points out Prince had the weather elements work for him. U2 had the second best, and I will admit U2's was pretty powerful. It was right after 9/11. They did the whole screen where they were putting out the names. It was, I think everybody had a tear roll down their face watching the U2
I was there.
one.
I was there.
Were you really? What was that like?
I was a producer for ESPN, and we were there working. And yeah, man, when they performed, it was okay. But when those banners went up with everyone's name, that's it.
Dude,
that's it. It was over.
I was at home watching it, and just the waterfall just began down my face. It was something else. Damn. But for me, it's still Prince, man. You can't beat that one.
Good stuff.
Prince, no doubt. I mean, playing Purple Rain in the rain in Miami. Get out of here.
And of course, Ryan in Green Bay brings up, I like Kendrick. Yeah, Kendrick last year was pretty badass. Like, dude, just opening the show standing on top of a Buick Grand National alone had me sold. I'm in. I'm so fucking in.
A minor. I love it.
It's good shit. It's good shit, Jim.
Okay. The second half of that question: who needs a shot at a halftime show?
It's funny. I actually had that. Believe it or not, that was in Shane's quick hitter. So
was it
No,
really?
it's okay.
Okay.
No, it's just funny you did that. It's a completely a thing. So let's hit it. Let's tackle it now. I want to give you my answer, and I feel really good about this. But is it alive or dead, or is it somebody that needs a shot?
No. You know what? You could do Time Machine. I was going to say Time Machine.
Time Machine
Mario can be in this.
David
Yes.
Bowie. Oh, we should have had a David Bowie halftime show, and that's when we should have had the return, a one-time only, of Ziggy Stardust, and it never happened.
That would have been crazy.
I've got one for you. remember, you guys are wrestling fans, right?
I'm a recovering wrestling fan. I haven't watched wrestling in the last 5 years.
Remember the gimmick battle royal at the Astrodome in WrestleMania?
I hate that the answer is yes.
Okay. Iron Sheik, Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah, everyone in there was just on life support, and it was just. I found it sad.
The best part was Bobby Heenan saying, "By the time the Iron Sheik gets to the ring, the thing's going to be over." But you need a gimmick halftime show. Vanilla Ice, the Island Boys.
Oh,
the guys who sang.
You threw the Island Boys on that? Like, I'm on board with Vanilla Ice.
It's a gimmick battle royal. It's a gimmick halftime show.
All right, fine. Desiree.
The worst.
Fucking right said Fred.
First of all, I don't think anybody would make it out to the field because they would be fighting with each other in the locker room, especially the freaking Island Boys. But can you imagine?
My God.
Start with the guys who let the dogs out. That would be amazing. The
Baja Men. God, I hate that.
Baja Men.
Yeah, Baja Men. Let's get what's his name? Lou Bega for Mambo number 5.
Oh my God.
I was.
Oh my God! I'm actually on board, Jim. You got me on board. I want the gimmick. I want a gimmick halftime show. All the shittiest one-hit wonders we can think of.
Oh my God.
Now you wouldn't do it for the Super Bowl. Maybe you would do it for. I don't know.
I know what we do it for. I know this. I've always had this theory that the best thing, instead of tanking for the first pick, I honestly think it should be the lowest 2 teams should battle it out as an extra playoff game. Winner gets the first pick. And they shouldn't play at a stadium. They should be forced to play at like San Quentin in front of all of the death row inmates. On such a shitty, burnt out field. And it should be announced by like Bill Burr and other people who will not take it seriously. And then the halftime show should be the gimmick halftime show with Right Said Fred, Vanilla Ice, Lou Bega, the Baja Men, and who else is it? Rock, you got any other shitty one-hit wonders we can throw on the mix?
Oh my God.
Extreme. They'll only sing the song more than words.
I would say Millie and Vanilli, but I think only Millie.
You can have Millie.
I think Vanilli's gone.
You can have
just Vanilli. I don't know.
And it's Millie and Friends.
Yeah, Millie and Friends.
All right, I want this so fucking bad now.
That's it, though.
Okay, you're welcome, NFL. We just made you $1 billion. All right, let's get back to actual sports. Major League Baseball. We're in the offseason. The winter meetings have been very, very interesting. We've seen some movement. Jim, you are a card-carrying Dodger fan. We already touched on Dave Roberts saying he's okay with the salary cap. I agree with you. I don't think the salary cap conversation even remotely begins until we start the conversation with the salary floor. And if there isn't any other evidence for that, just look at the Dodgers and how much money they've made in the last year and a half. And honestly, the other example is look at the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays just took in more money in this last year right after signing the check of a $500 million contract. And what have they done? They go to the World Series. They get the highest ratings in the history of Canada. The history of Canada. And they're making more money than they ever have, so they feel very good about getting their hands on Dylan Cease. Like the move. Bit of an overpay, but I like the move.
Bit of an overpay, but
yeah. A bit of an overpay. They go get Rogers on a 3-year deal because they desperately need bullpen arms. And listen, I don't think it's out of the realm. They're going to end up with Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger. Either move, I think, would be fantastic for them because they need an extra outfield bat. But the Dodgers are still looming around Tucker, but here's my only issue with the Dodgers. Because I'm all for people signing where they want to sign. Edwin Diaz going over there. Listen, it even pissed me off. I grew up a Dodger fan. I appreciate what the Dodgers have done, and the Dodgers have made themselves a destination. That's the one thing that no one wants to admit. Players want to play for the Dodgers. It's not just because of the money. They take care of their players. Dave Roberts, whether you want to admit it or not, is the best fucking manager in Major League Baseball and has been for a while. And, dude, what can you say? But I swear to God, I'm going to turn if they get their hands on Tarek Skubal. I'm sorry, you just can't fucking have everyone. This is where the line's already been met with the Edwin Diaz. The line's been met with the last 2 years. Let's be real clear. But Edwin Diaz going in there kind of irritated me. And if they end up with Kyle Tucker and somehow trade for Skubal, dude, please no. Please no.
I think the Scooble situation is even my dogs aren't.
I know your dog is not happy about it.
He's like, what do you mean? Is that Terry Scooble at the door? Listen, I think the Scooble thing is possible because the Dodgers have all the assets to do it. Do. You know what I mean? You can give them Glass now. You can give them a bunch of kids, whatever it is you want. Problem is you can't make that trade until you've got the extension worked out. Mm-hmm. And the Dodgers right now, I think the only thing, this is why I don't think they're going to get Tucker. I think you're right. I think he's going to Toronto. Mm-hmm. I think the problem with Scooble and what the Dodgers are doing, and they come from a position of strength here. Dodgers ain't giving anybody 7, 8, 9, 10-year contracts.
They don't need to.
They're not doing that anymore. Especially when we're going to have a lockout after next season. I think what they're going to do, and they've kind of told this to Tucker, is listen, you want $55 million a year? You got it. 3 years, opt out after 1, opt out after 2, 3-year deal. What do you want? You want to ring? You want to win a ring, or you want to be in Canada? It's up to you.
Yeah.
Or you want and I think that's what the Dodgers are doing. And would they do that with Scooble? Would Scooble want that? I don't know. But I think they're up for these overpaying on the annual salaries to get shorter deals to create these opt-outs. And I think that's what a lot of guys like. That's and of course the deferred money. And that's another thing. I think
that needs to be addressed.
One of the Dodgers have over $1 billion in deferred money. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And this is coming from a Dodger fan.
Listen,
that's crazy.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not good business and smart business. It is. Shohei Ohtani's contract has already paid off and then some. The Dodgers practically opened their books and announced, hey, we made $1.5 billion in the last year and a half of Japanese influx in money, so that deal's paid off. Oh, and the Dodgers have 20 years to pay that off because of the deferred salary aspect of it.
They're making interest on the money in the escrow account, so the Dodgers are making money off of that. Crazy.
I will admit this is bullshit, and it does need to be addressed in the next CBA. The only thing that I think will successfully be addressed is probably a limit or cap on something along the lines of deferred money. But I digress. It bothers me because the Dodgers are not the villains here. I'm sorry. The team that's willing to invest in winning, don't be mad at the Mets. They're investing in winning. Now, that being said, they let 3 very, very important pieces walk out the door, and I'm very happy for the Baltimore Orioles and even kind of happy for the Texas Rangers getting their hands on Nimmo, and good for the Dodgers. They went ahead and got Edwin Diaz. But, hearing the words out of the mouth of the Reds, a team that is a storied franchise, I believe often called the first franchise, and yet we're sitting here, they're saying out loud, yeah, we're not spending money. We missed out on this guy. And I get it. Your owner happens to be the least financially secure owner in Major League Baseball because I believe his net worth is around $490 million, where everyone else is playing in the billions. But if that's the case, dude, you're the Cincinnati Reds. You're a storied franchise. Get a new owner. Sell the team to somebody else. Make yourself a $1.1 billion and have somebody take over that franchise that's willing to spend money, because the NL Central is just the most winnable division in maybe sports.
Well, what fixes that? Spending money, getting an Ohtani. Not that they would have been able to get an Ohtani. You go out.
I hear what you're saying.
You go out and you get a big time player. You win. You make the playoffs. You make those revenues. You keep selling it. That's the way you do it. Now, I get it. It's easy to spend somebody else's money, but then to your point, don't get into the business, man. Mm-hmm. Buy yourself a luxury box and sit up in the seats and criticize the players like everyone else does. Don't get into ownership if you can't afford it.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for extremely rich people who are complaining that they're poor. You're not poor. Now, I do admit, yeah, Reds, you have the least amount of money, but this is Major League Baseball, man. This is not Little League. Right. If you can't swim with these sharks, you shouldn't be in the fucking tank.
Now, things need to be addressed. Again, I think there should be a salary floor. I think that's important. But at the same time, I think there are things that need to be worked out a little bit, in terms of the deferred money situation. Mm-hmm. I think there's too many teams in the playoffs. I think that does a disservice to the players. Because the players were anti-expanding the playoffs.
I know, dude.
Because what does that do? The owners say, "Well, okay, all I got to do is win 80 games."
I know, and I see that point
all year.
I see that point for the lower teams that are just trying to straight by and get in there. But we are seeing teams kind of seeing the writing on the wall that investing is bringing back a financial return.
Right.
And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that wasn't the best single fucking Major League Baseball playoff / World Series I have ever seen in my life. I'm not just talking about the incredible World Series. The NLCS was incredible, where Ohtani has the single greatest baseball game ever played in one game. And, dude, if you don't think that Mariners-Toronto Blue Jays series was just one of the most epic fucking things I've ever seen, it was. I was actually rooting for – I didn't have a dog in the horse. I was rooting for the Mariners, but I'm looking for those two to run it back this next season, bro.
I'm just shocked that – because Major League Baseball never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity. I'm just shocked MLB didn't screw it up.
I know, right?
They didn't say, hey, let's start Game 7 at noon, or let's put that on pay-per-view, or that they didn't find some way to ruin it. They couldn't ruin it. That's how great this postseason and World Series was. I don't think I enjoyed it as much, because I don't think you enjoy the playoffs when it's your team, because you're so invested. You're so freaking out on every pitch between Pajez's catch and Miguel Rojas throwing out IKF at the plate. I was out of my mind, as opposed to if you're a neutral person just enjoying the game and enjoying the like you, not having a horse in the race. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm just shocked MLB didn't screw it up. And I can't wait. World Baseball Classic. I think World Baseball Classic saved baseball, honestly. But that may be a topic for a different show. I really think World Baseball Classic saved baseball.
Dude, as a guy that's played in 2 of them, it's an amazing tournament. It really, really is. And this last one was really astonishing. By the way, a couple teams that are mentioned here, and you mentioned Daddy Hacks Pod says they just gave Ohtani 10 years. Yes, they did. But that is Shohei Ohtani. So I don't think the Dodgers are going to be in the market to be spending another 10-year deal. I actually do agree with Jim that it's going to be those AAV contracts that he mentioned. And you are right. The Mets are investing, but they aren't winning. At the end of the day, their pitching staff was just bad last year. They need to invest in pitching.
You got to get the right players. That's another thing. It's one thing to be – listen, I think – look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins spend money. They're just spending it on the wrong guys. That's the problem.
Yep. And Joanna in Arizona mentions the Colorado Rockies. Now, I've always been, and those of you who've ever heard Beadle and Decker at anywhere, this version, the old version, I have not been quiet of my dislike and hatred of the Monforts and what they have done to the city of Denver and how they have fleeced every fan in that city to constantly show up to that beautiful stadium and not even come close to presenting a winner. That being said, they just hired Josh Burns, who is my former general manager and has been the assistant GM for the Dodgers for a long time. Josh Burns is a very bright guy. And if somebody can actually help that team win, I do like the hiring of Josh Burns. He just brought in a pitching coach who's a little bit of a different type of thinking pitching coach in Along Lenchman. He's my ex-teammate in the World Baseball Classic in Israel. Listen, it's going to be a long road for Colorado. Period. Stop. Look at that division. Everyone in that division can win this year. It's not out of the realm that the Giants are a playoff team. We know what the Padres are. They're likely going to be right on the edge of a playoff team, depending on whether or not they sell. We know the Dodgers are going for a three-peat. And I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Sleep on the Arizona Diamondbacks to your own peril, because they are going to be a playoff team this year. The Rockies got a real uphill battle, man. It's going to take years, and it's going to take them to actually fix their farm system, and God forbid it's going to take them to spend money, which the Rockies do not do.
Colorado is the Indiana of the Big Ten, and they finally turned it around. So they either got to spend some money or they got to get realigned and get out of the National League West. And whether it's some sort of National League Rocky Mountain or something like that, but they got to spend some money.
Let's just put the Rockies in the Mountain
But they got to
West
spend
and
it
call
wisely. No more 7-year deals for Chris Bryant, who's at the end of his life, let alone at the end of his career.
You gave all that money to a very broken toy. That's a tough one to swallow. Hey, Rock, let's switch it up and let's go and do some of Shane's quick hitters. We only got 2 today, and let's get ready to wrap up this bad boy, my guy. Let's go to Shane's quick hitters. What do you got?
Okay, so I already stole one accidentally, but here we
you
go. Rolling
bastard.
back into it. That was my bad. Okay, let's see. He wears you out is what a teammate says about Chris Paul as a teammate. What? That's the most. What's the most annoying trait a coworker can have?
Now, I heard that comment, and I have played with a lot of guys that absolutely wear you out, especially veteran guys that are, still weren't able to let go of the fact that they weren't stars anymore. And yes, it can be a tired act. That being said, I do think Chris Paul should be able to get away with a little bit more of that because he's Chris Paul. But what is something that a coworker can do that really annoys me? I apologize. I feel bad for anyone that. Ooh, somebody right there, Scott PA, microwaving smelly lunches. I'm gonna go a step further. Further than that because I agree with that. But I've also worked with coworkers that just flat out smelled, and I hate it. It's a real because you don't want to say anything, but at some point you gotta fucking say something. Like, dude, just mix in some soap, something, change of clothes.
You hope it rains, or something.
Or not, maybe not, because they might come off more like a wet dog. I don't know. I think hygiene can be important sometimes, especially if you work in close proximity with other people. That's all.
I worked at a radio station, and he was an old timer, wasn't a boss, didn't have the designation of a boss. We were equals, but he treated everyone like subordinates. That's crazy. And he was the office narc. He was the spy.
Dude.
Hey, Cody came in 5 minutes late. Hey, Jim wasn't logged on. Hey, Jim left early. This happened. He was gone. Four times he went to the bathroom today.
Dude.
Those are the worst.
Dude.
Those are the worst.
I'm gonna throw one more in there because you'll understand this, Jim. I guess it's not really an annoying trait, but it's my least favorite person or type of person in this industry. I call them survivors. I call them people who do a job, they have a title, but even working with them for a prolonged amount of time, you have no idea exactly what they do because their job isn't doing the job that they're hired to do. Their job and their own sole accomplishment in doing their job is that they have successfully kept their job. Those are my least favorite people in this particular industry because there are so many people who have no fucking idea what they're doing that are just in positions.
Yeah, it's bananas. It's bananas, and they're probably the ones frying the fish in the microwave.
Oh, yes, they are. You know they are. Salmon of all the fish, you fucking monsters.
Disgusting. All right, last one. Alan Lazard was released by the Jets today. Can Lazard help a playoff team?
Yes. I think the Bills should get their hands on him just because the Bills need a target. Is he the best target in the world anymore? No. But he is a target. I'd take it if I was the Bills. They missed out on everybody at the trade deadline. It's worth a flyer.
You know where I think he would be great, and I'm not going to say the Rams because I'm an LA guy. Mm-hmm. How about the Buccaneers? I think he would be amazing with Baker Mayfield. Even as a threat, the Buccaneers are kind of limping across the finish line. You get a guy like that on your team who can make plays. He always finds a way to be open. I think he would help the Bucs get across the finish line and make a deep run.
I like it. I like that. That's two good calls right there. And by the way, on the coworker, Joanna in Arizona, coworkers not pulling their weight yet taking credit. Absolutely horrible. And I can't stand the coworkers who talk so loud as to make everyone in the office hear their conversations. Yes, loud talkers. Awful.
Yes.
Awful.
Okay, Bob, I hear you. Congratulations, you got laid last night. That's awesome, Bob.
Did you get laid, Rocky? I hope you did. Anyways, this has been fun. Hey, Rock, what do you say we go ahead and we reflect? Reflections. You know, my reflection is going to be very, very simple, reflecting on just the show today and everything that we've done. But I'm going to change my reflection because I was going to use this for my shiggle. Instead, it's going to be my reflection today. I think we're all done with LeBron James. And hear me out on this. It's not that LeBron can't still go. Obviously can, although I do hear Paul Pierce thinks he can guard him right now, this version of LeBron, and I think that's really funny. We have seen that LeBron was basically handed his opportunity to keep his streak alive for the double-digit points game, and then, of course, took all the credit in the world for magnanimously handing the ball off to somebody else, so he lost out on his record for the game winner. And, of course, LeBron, what a great guy. But also, the other night, he took a free throw that even his head coach said Luka should have taken that free throw. LeBron doesn't realize he's not LeBron anymore, and I think it's really starting to irk him a little bit because it's showing. Because it's not that you're not the guy on the Lakers now. You're not even the second guy on the Lakers now because that man's Austin Reeves. Dude, I think it's time. We're in a new world. We got the Cade Cunninghams out there doing things. We got Jalen Brunson in New York doing sweet things. Wembanyama is a literal alien on the court. And, of course, I'd be remiss to mention that SGA doesn't even need to play fourth quarters to win an MVP. I think the time has finally come. I think the NBA might finally be done with LeBron James.
LeBron's the old guy at the bar now.
He is, man.
Why did nobody tell me these still 20-year-olds don't want to talk to me anymore?
Dude, he's about to be a grandpa. It's real, dude. I appreciate everything LeBron has done. Am I a fan of the LeBron Laker run? No, I'm a diehard Laker fan, and it hasn't felt like the Lakers since LeBron's got here. It just felt like a LeBron vanity project. But it doesn't mean I'm anti-LeBron. I appreciate everything he's done. He is one of, if not top two, or even top one, depending on who you ask, greatest player who ever lived. But time's up. Time's up, baby. It's over. It's fucking over. Dude, what do you got?
My reflection is the hornification of America. Did you know that Americans have spent $2.64 billion on OnlyFans this year?
Really?
2.64 billion. 7.9 million a day, 237 million a month, $91 a second. Atlanta is the global leader in OnlyFans. Atlanta. Chocolate City.
I mean,
apparently nobody goes to the strip joints anymore.
Wait, what was that one strip joint that everybody got? Magic City was that spot?
Magic City.
Magic City.
Lou
the
Williams
wings.
with the wings.
The
Lou
wings,
Williams
bro.
with wings.
Lemon pepper Lou.
Lou busted out of COVID because he had to go to Magic City. Orlando is second.
Orlando.
They get the bonk bonk. They get the stick, the bonk bonk. Miami is third. Now Miami is the capital because that is production headquarters of OnlyFans. But $2.64 billion on OnlyFans. Goodness.
Stay horny out there, people. I love it. Keep up the great work. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Rock, what are you reflecting on?
I'll keep it brief because I'm a little congested. I'm just dealing with some nose shit today. But
get some OnlyFans and you won't be congested.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
get it all out of you.
Shit. Yeah, maybe that's the answer. No, but just another successful remote guest host show, and just good. Coming out of the weekend, everything is good. So focusing on reflecting on all that for sure.
Well, I would like to just piggyback on that because today, JRod, you stepped in and just had a blast just cutting it up with you for this last hour. JRod, please tell everybody all of your shows where everyone can find you because, one, your Dodger show, which I do very often watch, is phenomenal. I really enjoy your daily Dodger show. Please tell people where you're at.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's called Dodgers Latest. Dodgers Latest on YouTube. Please come over, like, subscribe, comment. The best part about it is, we get into it. We talk about comments and stuff. And I also host a show on the Cigar Snob Magazine podcast. And it's ironic because we're not snobs. We're three dudes. We love it. We talk cigars, pop culture. We do pairings. We have interviews with people. Cigar Snob Magazine podcast. Come on over, have a fun, and have yourself a smoky treat.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that is it for us today. Another show in the books. This has been guest host week. Michelle Beadle over there for the NBA Cup. JRod show, who absolutely crushed it today, stepping in. Tomorrow we got Jen Piacenti. On Thursday, director, writer Joe Carnahan will be here live co-hosting with me. And then Friday, Tanya Ray Fox. A lot of fun throughout this week. But JRod, you absolutely are a badass. Love working with you. Can't wait for the next time to have you. And I want to remind everybody, like, share, and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Twitch. Check us out on social media. We'll have multiple clips from today's show and, of course, yesterday's show that are up right now with Rob Brown and everything with Michelle Beadle. Michelle will be back next week, but also the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or just anywhere on earth. It's going to be there, and you're welcome in advance. And guys, can't thank you enough for joining us for another day. Cannot wait to see you noon Pacific tomorrow. And as always, R.I.P. Estelle Getty.